with a supplementary question can ask. Senator Sifuna.
Mr. Speaker, you know this government likes long stories, but the devil is in the detail. So, CS, you have mentioned your project at Bomas, and I am sure he has heard the concerns of Kenyans and environmentalists in particular about the hiving off of a section of Nairobi National Park to essentially put up a parking lot for that project he's talking about in Bomas. CS, now that I've spoken about it, can you tell the country what process was followed by this government to hive off a section of the Nairobi National Park for the Bomas project?
Senator Ososi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I have managed to quickly peruse through the long response. And in the response, I haven't seen much about other plans which successful governments have come up with and their effect on the Vision 2030. For example, during Uhuru's time, there was a Big Five plan and then called the bottom-up economic transformation. So I think the CS can enlighten us on the effect of these successful plans on the Vision 2030. How has that slowed down the implementation of Vision 2030, or how has that made Vision 2030 be successful? Because the impression that we're getting, Mr. Speaker, is that the successful government actually ignored Vision 2030 and came up with their own plans, which interfered with Vision 2030.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, on issue raised by Senator Sifuna, the government likes long statements. I thought a government that is accountable must give as much information as is necessary. So as how you use that information now is subjective. It doesn't have to be standard. Those who support the government, you'll use it differently. Those who oppose the government, like Senator Sifuna, will also use it. And that is the value of democracy. And that is what I've provided. So, and I've given details until...
Yes, avoid really interacting.
And Mr. Speaker is asking for details. I've given details until he's complaining, and then he's asking for details.
Because so if you go that route, I might be not able to safeguard your...
You see, also...
so maybe answer the questions the way they are asked, and then...
Yeah, so I'm just responding to his question. He's talking about details, and I'm saying I have given the details. If the details is too much, then you choose what to use. Now, on the issue of bombers and hiving off of the Nairobi National Park, there is a procedure for hiving off Nairobi National Park. If that is the procedure that you're asking, I am glad to bring it to this house. But I didn't know I would be asked on how the process of bombers was arrived at. If I was asked, I am very competent and capable of coming back here and facing the Senate and addressing that issue. And I will be glad to do it. Or even my colleague in the line ministry would still do it. On issues raised by Senator Osotsi, on the Big Five agenda and the better, I think there is a bit of a confusion between a vision and policy. The vision of this country has not changed. The vision of this country is still Vision 2030, and in that vision, it is clearly stated what needs to be achieved. One of them is economic growth of 10%. And to achieve that economic growth, it is clearly spelled out what needs to be done. Now, the policy, any government campaigning will now have to develop policy around the vision of the country. And vision is vision. You are visioning, or you want to see something happen in a period of time. Now, policy will help you move to that vision. And that is exactly what Uhuru government had their own plan. Now, in this government or administration, it is a bottom-up economic transformation agenda, which has 5 pillars, and which talks about agriculture, which talks about MSMEs, which talks about healthcare, it talks about housing, and finally, digital superhighway and creative economy. On these 5 pillars, the government is implementing a number of strategies and policies to make sure that we actualize the bottom-up economic transformation agenda that will now lead us to the Vision 2030. And I have enumerated in this my response. Under agriculture, I have talked about the fertilizer subsidy, I've talked about the revival of various sectors of the economy, including tea, how we have supported coffee. We have revived the coffee production. Edible oil is high up in our agenda as a country. We are reviving rice production. Look at what is happening in Bura now with the expansion of putting more acreage under rice production and many, many others, including the sugar sector. In MSMEs, there are a number of initiatives. I can go on and on. When you come to health, we are employing the universal health coverage. And we are also doing affordable housing under the housing pillar, something that everyone will agree is taking shape. I mean, unless you just don't want to accept. So the housing pillar has picked up as the 4th pillar. The digital superhighway and creative economy. I have again told you, if you listen to my budget speech, I talked a lot about initiatives that we are putting in place to promote and support creative economy. So in a nutshell, there is no inconsistency. There is no dropping of Vision 2030. It remains our anchor vision. We are just thinking of now that it is coming to an end. Then what is the next vision? So these others are policies to actualize it. So I think I have responded to the 2 concerns by the Honorable Senators.
Maybe, Honorable CS, you give a commitment when you can provide the issues raised by Sifuna. No, I've also asked I've also directed the CS or asked him to give us a timeline when you'll be providing that information on the hiving off of the forest, Ngong forest.
Mr. Speaker, I don't know whether that communication will come formally, but I'm ready to prepare the response, get it even from the relevant ministries. In 2 weeks, we can submit that response in writing.
I've noted 2 weeks, Senator Sifuna. Is it on the same supplementary question or a different
Speaker,
matter?
You know, Speaker, we will not allow...
If it is a different matter, of course, I won't be able to give you
I just
that
want to make something clear, Speaker. Verbosity is not detail. If you just throw around words that don't give specific answers to specific questions, you can see he doesn't have an answer to my question.
But he said he will prepare for your question.
He has long stories about housing.
In 2 weeks' time, which is okay. That is how we conduct
the CS
business.
will not get away with this. We want answers to the concerns of the public, not just stories about housing.
Senator Sifuna, you are not a stranger in this Senate. If you ask a CS a question and he has no answer that particular time, he is given time to provide.
Yes, but Speaker,
so it
came from his own response. It came from the same response. I was around when Vision 2030 was prepared. I don't remember.
That is why I'm saying I'm not giving you a leave again to ask another supplementary question.
Just a minute, Speaker. I don't remember the hiving off of Nairobi National Park being part of Vision 2030 for these projects. So when he speaks about it, he should give us details. So I'm happy I said he'll answer in 2 weeks. But let him not write me long paragraphs. Just give us the procedure that was used to hive off the park. That's simple.
Is Senator okay?
No, just a minute. Yes. We won't get the question from the Senator.
Mr. Speaker, I have committed myself.
Yeah, you did that.
And I know Senator Sifuna could have been around when Vision 2030 was being, maybe he was in school. I was around here in the political space. So I have probably a better understanding of Vision 2030.
Honorable CS, you know, you give your commitment and that's the end of that commitment. You know, you have been to this house, to the house, and also you are a good politician. You have been a party chairman. I know you know how to handle questions from politicians and from other leaders. But once you give your commitment, don't go to the political space. Just leave it at that. Senator Okech, proceed.
Mr. Speaker, I've read the response from the CS. And Mr. Speaker, just like Senator Sifuna, maybe I was more involved when Vision 2030 was being